analysis, where I said there is no label, there is no guidance to say that this is the characteristics of the object, so that all other attributes can be identified with these features and you can group it. That is classification. But cluster analysis, you will not say anything. It will automatically identify the similar characteristics and group together. That's what I stopped there. Then the second task is the predictive task, where you can have two functions, classifications and prediction. Classification, if you say classification, as I told you, you have to say that a label is or a target object will be identified. And then we will say that according to this condition, you have to identify the object or attributes of the object and bring them as a group. Then we are guiding the system. We are supervising the system by giving some target class or label in which it has to classify. For that, we'll use training data and we'll train the system to predict what are all the characteristics. Okay, and training set data will be there, test data will be there, and we'll make what I can say, suppose, for an example, if you want to make food for a marriage, what you will do? Initially, you will ask the people who are giving that order to make some sample food in all the items and give it to us so that we'll taste it and then we'll give the order. Like that, we'll make a small model first, and whatever the data available, we'll make the model, sample model. Then we'll train the system, that model. This is what we want. Once the model is trained, it will get the new data and automatically it classifies. That's what is written here. Whatever I'm saying, it's written here. Finding a model that describes the data classes or concept, organization of the data, what we are supervising. Actually, we train the data to predict the class. What we are giving, that label is class label. For an example, if you say that faculty, you can give the data along with the faculty and PhD scholar and the MSc student. If you want to classify faculty, you have to say the features of faculty. So from the data, if these features are there, what are the features? The faculty should be between the age between 35 to 35, above 35, and they should have completed PhD and 5 years experience. Like that, if you give some features, the faculty will be completely classified according to your guide. That we call it as faculty is the label, class label, to which it has to classify the attributes of the data given. So the small model, sample model is trained. We say that the derived model is out of trained data. So who does this job? Actually, who is doing this job? An algorithm. The algorithm written by us will be working at the back to train the data and build a model. This is very famous and we are using in biological applications, bioinformatics, lot of classification. Okay, fine. Classification algorithms, a lot of classification of algorithms are available, templates are available. You have to use that algorithm and then classify according to your requirement. You have to write the algorithm or rewrite the algorithm according to your requirement to classify new objects. There is a difference between classification and clustering. This is classification. So you will predict from the sample model. So what form you can present the predicted or the model result. Classification can be written. The result of the classification model can be written in the form of rules, if-then rules. If you see this feature, then you belong to this group. If this is not your features, then it belongs to that group. If that we see the model, then they're using decision trees or mathematical formula or neural networks. These are all the model in which we present the result of the classification. Okay, students, tell me now anything you want to ask me? Because clustering is different, classification is different. Anything you want to ask me? Okay, if not, this classification prediction is over. So these are all the form in which you can have the result of the classification. We are going to see in detail the clustering algorithm, the classification algorithm. I'm just giving a glance that these are all the functions done by predictive task. That's what I'm trying to say. People are here? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now we have completely seen classification. Then what is prediction? What is you just see the classification itself. We can predict something, that is, which is not known, or which is missing, which is unavailable. Then we call that as we are predicting it actually. What we are doing in classification, we are making the grouping of newcomers, new objects. But here, out of a classification, some prediction can be made. So if there are numerical value, we call that prediction as regression analysis. Okay, prediction is little bad. What is not there already? It's written. Prediction is used to predict the missing or unavailable numerical data values rather than class label. Exactly. Class label is given by me. The user or the domain expert will say that this is the label you classify the new objects. But here it's different story. It's not the classification. Out of classification, you will predict the missing values or the numerical data values, not the class labels. And prediction is used for continuous values. And I will explain what is discrete and unordered data, also categorical data. All those things are the condition for prediction. So under predictive task, we have two functions, that is nothing but classification and prediction. As I have introduced what is classification and what is prediction. In detail, we'll see later. Then the next function is, it comes under predictive task, is that outer layer analysis. Outer layer analysis in the sense which is not in the normal form, abnormal. The objects do not obey the general behavior or what is the condition you have given for the model. It be out of it. But sometimes the data, the attributes which are present in the out of your general behavior gives you lot of information. Normally for police people, a CBI, this helps a lot. Fraud detection, ATM frauds, bank frauds, everything. What fraud everywhere. Outlier informations are taken and see, and many patterns are seen. So it cannot be grouped into class or cluster, but we can see the pattern in the outlier. We say that exceptions, no, like that. Some surprises are also there, but it is very important for fraud detection. And yeah, outlier, you know, Ramachandra plot you are using, no? Do you know Ramachandra plot?
Yes.
There you are seeing that outlier, all those things, isn't it? You don't see? Okay, I'm not getting into that. But I used to ask many questions when you present the project in Ramachandra plot. You will come to know what is that. Okay. Normally we'll discard the outliers because I am not interested in that. I have given the area in which I'm interested to mine. But sometimes we discarded outlier, we call it as a noise or exception. fraud detection, it can be used. Very interesting matters are there in outlier. We call this outlier analysis very useful, and outlier data, we call that as an outlier mining. And evolution, one more is there, it is missing, I don't know how it is. One more is there, evolution analysis. Evolution analysis is nothing but trends. The modern regularities are trends for objects to be change over time. What is the evolution? How does this particular attribute changes over the time? That is evolution analysis. To be very straight. So these functions comes under class predictive task. Predictive task, mainly the task is classification, outer analysis, and evolution analysis. So we have seen the previous class about the two tasks which are nothing but descriptive task and predictive task. Under descriptive task, we have seen the function, what are the functions, and the predictive task, what are the functions we have seen. So this is an introduction to data mining. What are the functions under two data mining tasks? Before I get into the next one, if you have any doubt, you can stop me here. I just introduced what are the functions of the data mining. One by one in detail we are going to see. Before seeing that, I am asking you any doubt. If you have any doubt, stop. No? No? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Then we'll go to next one. Yeah, very important. Please listen properly. Okay, fine. What is this? After covering this data mining functionality, I'm switching over to data mining primitives. What do you mean? What is the meaning of primitives? What is the meaning of primitives?
Ma'am, old-fashioned or
Huh?
ancient.
What is that?
Old,
Older.
ancient, ma'am.
Rules and regulations. Primitives is nothing but
fundamental or basics.
I can say that okay, it's a condition, it's a standard form. Let me put it in this context. Okay. Why we call this as a primitive? What does it mean? Why we need this primitive? What does it mean? Okay. What is that? Why it requires? How do you, whatever we discussed today about the data mining task, how do you specify this task to the system? How do you make the system to understand through which interaction? How do you make that interaction between the user and the system? Who does the job of making this data mining task? Yeah, of course, we know what is data mining. What are all data mining tasks? We understand that there are two tasks. How do you interact between the system to do these functions? We call that as a data mining query language. We use data mining query language for that reason. Whatever I want, whatever the system I want to do, or whatever I want the system to do, which function, we are interacting with the system through the data mining language, query language. Slightly like SQL, but slight differences are there. But to write the query language, we have a template that I can say it's a format, or I can say it is a standard format, or I can say it is a fundamental requirement to write the query language, to write the data mining query language. We call that as a primitive. Why we require this primitive? To find the pattern automatically in the database. If you write the query language, it will find the pattern. And also, Why we are giving this condition? 4 or 5 condition is there. I'll show you. Yeah, these are the perimeters. Task relevant data, kind of knowledge to be made, mind and background knowledge, and pattern interestingness measure and visualization of discovered pattern. These are the standard form. These are all the parameters through which only you can write the data mining query language. Okay. Why we need the standard form? What is the purpose of having these parameters? To avoid unrealistic and unwanted patterns, because too many patterns will be there. I'm not interested. I want only the pattern of the sale of computer and the software which is bought together. So the interesting pattern only I want. To avoid that, we need to have a standard form. Then difficult to understand what is given. Lack of validity, lack of novelty, lack of utility. All these things can be avoided by having the standard format. It should be interactive process. For that, all the steps are covered in that standard format so that it can be interactive. That is the purpose we are going for the primitives. And also, user can direct or communicate the system what need to be mined. That provision is also user friendly. Then what is data mining query language? Why? With this standard format, whatever I have shown, these are the standard format primitives. And I told you now why we use the primitives. Because of these reasons, we are going for the standard format. Okay. With this primitive, it is not a query language. With the condition of these things, or I can say with this standard format, all should be there. All 5 should be there. Mantra. This 5 conditions should be there in the data mining query language. Then one day it will be a query language and it will avoid all these things, whatever we discussed. So data mining query language is given by data mining QL. To incorporate the parameters. That is the right word. Whatever you have seen 5 mantra need to be incorporated in the data mining query language to avoid all the inconsistency whatever we discussed so far, all these points. So how the data mining query language should be? It should be more flexible for user interaction, and it should have a graphical user interface to interact, and there should be standardization of data mining industry and practice. Means you should know how to write the query. Too long sentences, too long query will misguide the system. Very precisely you have very short and very informative, and the interaction should be so precise to get the mining properly done. That is data mining query language. What I'm trying to say is that to interact with the data mining, to see the to get to instruct the system, the two tasks, data mining, descriptive task and the predictive task, can be instructed to the data mining system through the data mining query language. First point. To write the data mining query language, we need to follow this primitive. All these 5 things should be there. Why all these 5 things should be there? To avoid all this inconsistency. That's all I told you. Now only we are going to start what are the primitives. Students, you can stop me if you want to stop me here and ask me something so that I can continue. If there is nothing to ask, okay, let me ask a question. Is it clear? Is it clear? Whatever
Yes,
I covered so far, is it clear? Any doubt?
no, ma'am, no doubts.
Now only I'm going to start how you have to write the query query language to instruct the system for the descriptive task and the predictive task. If you have no doubt, let me go to the What is this? What are this primitive? Why this should be incorporated in the data mining query language? We have already seen. Actually, very relevant. These things are very relevant to write the data mining. Task relevant data. What task you are going to give, whether it is descriptive or predictive. What task? And for that particular task, what are the data which are all relevant actually? You cannot take all the data and ask the system to mine. It will take long time and it will misguide the system to mine the particular pattern which you want. So, you need to specify the particular data which is relevant to the task you want to instruct the system. First of all. What is the data I want under study? That has to be decided first. Then, what I want the system to do? Okay, I have given the data. What I want the algorithm to do, what I want the data mining system to do, whether it has to mine the classification, do the classification, or association, or clustering, or evolution, what I have to do, what I have to tell the system, which pattern I want, which that is kind of knowledge to be mined. Remember students, very important, kind of knowledge to be mined should be instructed to the system after giving the relevant data. Then, background knowledge, very important. What is background knowledge? Background knowledge is only to guide the system that which level, up to which level you have to mine the data. You have to go for the pattern. That I use a word, please remember, background knowledge is nothing but the level of abstraction. If I say level of abstraction, by this time you should know that is concept hierarchy. Very particular word need to be used. Concept hierarchy in the data mining. Without concept hierarchy, we cannot do anything in the data mining because we need to limit the level of abstraction to get a proper mining. To do the proper mining. That we call it as a background knowledge. Pattern interestingness measure. Yeah. Once it is guided by which level, up to which level, I don't want to go to the country level. The mining can be done only the state level. That is concept hierarchy. Okay. Then pattern interestingness measure. Yeah, the pattern is so far. How far you can restrict and show the pattern. We'll see now what is that. Then whatever I have done so far using these 4 conditions, how I can get the result, how to see the result, how to present the result of mining, can we visualize the mining of discovered pattern either in the tabular form, table form, or graph form, or anything, tree form, whatever. You have to tell the system which way you want to see the result. Okay. Any doubt? If not, let me go one by one. Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, actually this is not the data mining query language. I am repeating. This is only the primitives or the conditions or the standard form need to be incorporated. Without this, you cannot have the data mining query. Data mining query is just like SQL query. We are going to see shortly. If you understand that properly, I can proceed. Okay, fine. One by one, we can see what is data mining primitives. First primitive is that task relevant data. What do you mean by task relevant data? Data should, you have to take the data either from database or data warehouse. Then you have to mention the name of the database, if you choose database, or the warehouse name. Whichever you choose, you have to tell the name. Then only the system can go to the choose the particular database, and then which table you want. In case it is the data warehouse, you may not specify the table. You have to say what cube, in which cube you want to search the data. That needs to be specified. Then, what is the condition for data selection? Not all the data, I need only particular attributes. Not all the attributes are required to mine this pattern. Then you have to specify the data selection and then relevant attributes or dimension. Data selection is this. I want to mine only faculty who are really doing good. Then I need to take only the faculty data. Why I should take the student data? So the data selection is done there. But when you come to the attributes of data, I want only the faculty which is who is teaching only computer science. Then why I require all the table? You require what is the faculty name, what is the age, what is the qualification, who is teaching computer science. All attributes are not required to find the faculty in computer science. Then attributes can also be restricted. We are using dimension because if we use data warehouse, we will not say attribute, we will say dimension instead of attribute. Then data grouping criteria, if you want to present the data group wise, because SQL and data mining, there is a provision of grouping data. You want to that, you can do that. So, in one condition, one primitive, the task relevant data to be mentioned in the data mining query, you need to follow all these conditions. First primitive itself, you have to say database name, selection, data selection, what are the attributes. This three things are very important. Students, you are able to follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
The second primitive is kind of knowledge mine. So next you are going to write it in the data mining query. What kind of knowledge need to be mined? You have to specify the function. You want to characterize the data which is given already, or you want to discriminate the data, or you want to see the association or correlation. No, I want to see the classification or prediction, clustering, outer, evolution analysis. This is what I said. What you want the system to do. You're given the data, but you have to tell the system what is required by you, what the system has to do, what function it has to perform. That we call it as a kind of knowledge mine. Very important concept. Background knowledge. DK. About the domain in the sense, concept hierarchy. Okay, concept hierarchy. What do you mean by concept hierarchy? Concept hierarchy in the sense multiple level of abstraction. Very important. Multiple level of abstraction. Already I told you what is abstraction, and we are saying the level of abstraction. If okay, I think MSc students were not there, only MTech students were there. Suppose, yeah, MSc students very well know what is my level of abstraction. They were there in the database. Level of abstraction is only if you go from the state to country. I want only to mine the data till state, not the country. Okay, or in the vehicle example also, I want to know only the pattern regarding the car. You stop with the car itself. You're not going for the next step, that vehicle. That is generalization. Next higher level. Or next higher level is transport. Everything comes into that. No, I don't want that pattern. I want to know only the pattern of caste. Then the lower level abstraction. The lower level abstraction is that the mining is done. Can I request somebody to mute your thing, whoever it is, to disturb the class, if possible? If possible, can you please do it? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Then what is concept hierarchy? I just taken an example because it's very important. I just wanted to tell you what it is. For multiple level of abstraction, you see that freshman, junior, senior, undergraduate. Okay, fine. Let me say something here. If you say UG, it is the higher class abstraction, level of abstraction. If you say PG, if you say PG, postgraduate. So how many classes are there in the postgraduate? Postgraduate may be in physics, chemistry or mathematics. Okay, physics, chemistry or mathematics. Or, okay, let me put the classification like this. First, postgraduate is the higher order of classification, higher order of abstraction. Then, if I put PG, postgraduate, then I come to MA, and then MSc, and then MTech. Then the lower level of abstraction. MA, English, French, Tamil. Then MSc, Science, Physics, Chemistry, Mathematics. Like that. You understand? You understand what I'm talking?
Yes, ma'am.
So let me put it education. I want to see something, to mind something in education. So which area I want to see the pattern of PG students. Okay, some query is there. Some pattern I want to see the PG students. So whether you want to see the generalized level of abstraction PG students, the whole pattern? No, I don't want to see the whole generalized form of PG students. I want only MA. So MA, you want to see the generalized pattern of MA, or you want to see the physics department alone, or the chemistry department alone, or mathematics. Do you understand what I'm talking? Yes or no? Don't see the slide. Tell me. Then you don't understand. Look here. Then you don't understand. You are not. People are not opening their mouth. Please, you see here, students. See here. This is concept hierarchy. I can see mine the data till address is given. Attribute is address. So the address can be divided into street, city, state, country. State is the lower level of abstraction. If you go further little up above, it is city abstraction. If we go to state level, much level, more higher level, country level, I want to see the sale of something in that particular the shop located in particular street. Then it is lower level. No, Pondicherry, how many shops are there? I want to see the sale of the Pondicherry, sale of the shops available in this Pondicherry city. Then it is little higher level of abstraction. No, I want to see the whole sale of all the shops in the state, Tamil Nadu state. It's a higher level. And I want to see the sale of the India. I have shops in country India. Then country-wise I want to see. India alone, if you mention, this is what I'm trying to say, hierarchy, concept hierarchy. Students, now you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I can say the age between 20 to 100. How do you mention? How the pattern will be good? It will not be good. So you need to have a level of abstraction. So you can say, you can specify that. You can tell the system 20 to 29 age people are there. You put it as young. 40 to 59, you make it as a middle age. Then you can see, tell the system, I want to see the pattern of the M. So it will understand, it will take the attribute only between the people between 20 to 29. And this is the level of abstraction. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you take the mail ID, you can see that. What we are saying? We are saying first login name, then what is the department, which is the university, IN is the country. Am I right? PQ is our department. BIC is the login name, Bioinformatics Center, and PU is okay. Amuda is my login name. Then PIC is department, PU is the university, and EDU is education, and IN is the country. So one by one, you can go to the level of when you go to the domain level, you can restrict your domain with the India. Okay, so this is level of instruction. You have to guide the system to which level you want to mine the data. You just understand this one. When we use it in data mining query language, you will come to understand clearly. Okay, shall I proceed? Yes or no? Shall I proceed?
Yes.
When pattern interestingness measure, what do you mean by that? For an example, I can say, tell you, yeah. Association, I want to mine some association between the computer, sale of a computer and the software. Then, what is the validity? How do you evaluate the pattern that it is correct? What is the validity of the pattern? How do you measure it, whether this pattern is right or wrong? To validate it, to evaluate the pattern, we need to have an interestingness measure. Means what I am interested. Actually, it is validated. To have it, we have to measure support and confidence. Very important in association mining, support and confidence. I will explain you what is support and confidence. But here I am telling you just what is the interestingness measure. So in association rule, these values will specify threshold because up to this measure only you can choose, you can mine the data. Beyond that, I don't want. That threshold, minimum threshold value is very important. You have to specify the threshold value in the interestingness measure. We'll see later what is that measure supported from. Utility. Potential usefulness of the association, noise threshold description, or whether this pattern is new, unknown already, very surprising pattern, novelty. These all comes under pattern interestingness. Or else, if any redundant rules are repeated, you can, using this interesting measure, you can remove those repeated things. For that reason, pattern interesting method is used. And visualization. Whatever the pattern you got it of the result of mining, you have to present it in the form of rules, either in the form of rules or tables or reports, charts, graphs, decision trees, cubes, whatever the way you want to present, you can tell the system, guide the system how it should be. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. This is what we call it as primitives. I just explained what is primitive of the data mining in the sense. Let me go and tell you again what is those things. Task relevant data. We have seen that what database, what data selection, and kind of knowledge, what kind of function, background knowledge, what is concept hierarchy, and how far the pattern is validated for as per my requirement. That is visualization, how to present the result. All these content should be there in your data mining query language. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, let me give a chance for you to ask anything, then I'll proceed. If you don't understand, please ask me. What? Sleeping? People are sleeping or what?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Nothing to worry. Let us go one by one. What is the data mining query so that you will understand. Okay? If there is no doubt, let me ask you one thing. Now I will tell you what is data mining query language, and I'll show you the example of data mining query language by incorporating all this data mining primitives. I'll show you the sample of data mining query language. For that, you need to know SQL. MSc students are well aware of SQL. They can make it. And elder students are also aware of it, not to that extent, because in big data analytics, you had a glance of SQL. If you know SQL, the data mining query language is much easier how to write. I'll show you some of the examples how to write the data mining query, but that assignment will be given to you. All the query data mining, you take one example and go to the website and download all the data mining query language and submit it to an assignment. You may not understand what I'm talking now, but when I tell you what is data mining query language, then you will understand. Okay, fine. That is a tedious process. Next class, I'll take the data mining query language by incorporating this data mining primitives. And also, this is very important in the data mining system architecture. What is left out, I have taken that to tell you. The data mining system architecture, we have already seen that if the architecture of data mining system coupled with data mining system or database or data warehouse, we say that it is how far it is strong to say the data mining system, or what is the name given to the data mining system if the architecture includes these. Suppose if the data mining system does not include any database, just flat file processing in the sense it takes the data only from flat file, there is no database, data warehouse. We say that particular architecture for data mining system is no coupling. Suppose if the data mining system has the databases, it includes fetching data from database and data warehouse, it gets the data, then we say it is loosely coupled, loose coupling, the architecture, loose coupling. Suppose it has the data mining performance, enhanced data mining performance by having database management system or data warehouse with the data mining performance algorithms, then we say semi-tight coupling. No, it has a proper algorithm, it has a proper data mining system, information processing system is properly done in this architecture, then we call it as a tight coupling. There is a question in the question paper, what is coupling, no coupling, loose coupling, semi-tight coupling and tight coupling. That is the reason this is left out. I am just informing you this has to be taken. That's all about our architecture. So today I have done only primitives. We have seen what are the data mining tasks, two tasks, and how we are, what are the functions these two tasks is doing, that we have seen. And how do you interact with this data mining system to do this data mining task through the data mining query language? Yes, I am going to give the data mining query language, but to write the query language, what are all the primitives need to be followed by a user or the domain expert to instruct the data mining system? That's all we have discussed today. Whatever we have discussed today, this mantra, 5 things, I'll ask you question next time. What need to be there? Please be prepared. Next class, because we need some time. Next class, completely take the example of data mining query language. Before taking the data mining, I will tell you the SQL also for a minute, and then we'll switch on to the data mining query language. How to write the data mining query language. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm not going to leave you now. Tell me what is not, you're not in a position to understand. Little bit again and again I'm saying why, you should understand we are coupling with every task, functions, and then primitives, and then data mining query language. Like that I'm going. Whether you are all right with that? Till here, no doubt? Probably you may have a doubt after explaining to write how data mining query language should be done. Okay? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything you want to ask me? Student, please excuse me. Actually, one sec. What I want to say is that probably, I do not know, probably I may ask you sometimes when there is no classes for you. If you have common, I'll ask you to. Yeah, sure. Snega, I'll do it, Snega. Please allow me to talk. Whenever there is a common period, free hours for MTech and MSc, whenever I ask, it's not that you have to tell me. Please, if possible, give me the hours. I may take 1 week off. I don't want to miss those classes. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Please tell me whenever I ask you if it is possible, make that for me. The recording is not stopped. Once. I may take 1 week off. That is the reason I'm asking this. I do not know. That is also not sure. Why it is not stopped recording? Okay, fine. One option. Second option is that when I am not there, available to take class, we'll have internal. As Snega requested, first unit data mining. Can we have the first internal for MSc? Snega?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, in that case, tell me the date. Or if MTech students are there, if they don't object, shall we have together data mining till data mining query language, October 1st?
Ma'am, actually, October 1st, Sahal was telling that he won't be there because he has some government exam to sit for.
Okay, in the month of October, first week.
Yes, ma'am. First week we can go for.
MTech students, I am asking you also. People are there, other? Subhash,
Yes, ma'am.
ready? Till data mining query language will have the internal test. And MTech students, I may consider this as the first internal. Whatever you written for data warehousing may not be considered. Because first internal, I want you to write 3 internals in data mining rather than data warehousing. That is the motive, nothing more than that. Because we'll have 3 internals in data mining. First introduction, then classification and association, and then whatever is left out. 3 internals. And whatever I'm asking you for data mining query language, that is your assignment. Is it okay? 2 internals and 1 assignment. Speak out. What happened? All are sleeping or tired or what? What happened?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, we'll have 2 internals and 1 assignment. Assignment is already informed. And hereafter, for MTech, the first internal, whatever they've written is not considered for the marks. We'll take data mining alone. That's what I'm giving you the instruction. Okay. If you have any objection, tell me now itself.
Why don't we take best of 2 like that?
Hey, who is that? For only this thing they are talking. Only for marks, Satish is speaking. Otherwise, I never see Satish speaking to me.
No, ma'am, not like that.
Yeah, I'm doing that only, but that is not the right way actually. But you write 2 exam assignments. We'll consider as 3. I'll make it the best. You know that I'm making it.
Yes,
And
ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
I'm making the best only.
Okay, ma'am.
I will make it. Don't worry about that. I know. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to tell you 2 internal tests and 1 assignment. So the internal test may be in the week of October, first week of October. And suppose if I am available, I will not keep. Before that, I'll not keep. Whenever I'm not there, I'll keep the test to avoid the class cancellation. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And Pooja requested for the Pooja holidays. It starts, Pooja, which week it starts?
From the second week of October.
Second week of October. So you mean to say that you don't want me to take class? It's not like that, isn't it? Only test you are talking about. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. Only the test, ma'am. You can take classes, but please not
I
the
have to take class. You cannot ask me to. Okay. In that case, you don't want the test to be conducted during the puja holidays. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That is only the second week of October. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Second week of October, don't keep any tests. That's what you are saying. All students, I'm asking.
Yes, ma'am.
Is
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I assure you that I will not do it. First week of October, if it is missed or something like that, second week of October. Is it okay? I'm sorry, third week of October. Is it good?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay then, fine. There is no more question. Shall I sign off? Thank you for joining. Saturday, I requested you because I missed one class.